As Swami said, it was he who protected us from the explosion. When you surrender to God, He takes care of you. Saidam, I wish to narrate an incident which occurred in the month of August 1990. I was in charge of the Chemistry Instruments facility at Prasanthi Nilayam campus. For some of the sophisticated instruments, we need helium, gas, and compressed air. We also require hydrogen and argon gas for some experiments. Whenever the cylinder gets depleted, gas gets depleted, we go to Bangalore and get the gases filled in the cylinders which we had purchased. We had planned to get the cylinders filled on August 6th. So myself and Dr. Anil Kumar, who was that time a research scholar, and a colleague, we sat in front of the portico and wanted to seek Swami's blessings before we leave for Brindavan on August 6th. Swami came and blessed us. We sought Swami's permission to go to Bangalore the following day. Swami went for darshan and we were sitting in the portico. Those days, Swami used to signal to the students and all the students will rush forward in the portico to be closer to Swami, so that they can have a good view of Swami sitting inside the bhajan hall. Since we are all teachers, I didn't want to get up and run in front. Little did the students expect us to remain in our place. So when so many students rush forward to occupy pivotal place so they could have nice darshan of Swami sitting in the bhajan hall, we were obstacles. And many boys fell on me, and I was almost bent, to be frank, almost 10 to 15 boys. Because I was stationary, I didn't move. And Swami was in the upper portico. Swami was looking at me and smiled. I didn't understand the significance until something happened the following day. Next day, it was August 6th. Early in the morning, we are supposed to leave at 4:30. Man proposes, God disposes. So the driver was supposed to drive the vehicle that day was stuck up in Dharmavaram. He did a good sleep. He reached Prasanthi Nilayam at 5:30. So already we were delayed by an hour. We started from Prasanthi Nilayam around 5:45. Within 15 minutes, the matador broke down. So he tried to rectify it. Those days we didn't have a mobile to ask for a spare vehicle. We had to go to a nearby place where there was a telephone facility, and we tried to ring up his owner in Prasanthi Nilayam in vain. Somehow he managed to rectify it. We started our journey again. Somewhere near the outskirts of Bangalore, there were a big queue of vehicles because there was scarcity of petrol that day in many petrol bunks. Meanwhile, it took some 1 hour for the driver to get the petrol filled. By the time he reached, we were about to close, and he approached the manager, and manager a little upset. Anyway, he just signed, but he said that the cylinders can't be filled now. It's really late, and we just could procure hydrogen-filled gas cylinder. And there were 7 other cylinders to be filled, which could not get filled that day. The purpose of coming to Bangalore was not served. I recollected that I had to give a set of cassettes to my parents in Bangalore. After a hiatus of almost 11 years, Swami started the summer course in 1990. And I promised that when I come to Bangalore next, I will get all the Swami's discourse recorded in the cassette. After I handed over the cassettes to my parents, generally before I take leave of them, I seek their blessings. On that particular day, my mother went inside the puja room, got vibhuti and applied it on my forehead. I didn't know why she applied vibhuti on my forehead. And then we proceeded to Prasanthi Nilayam. It was raining heavily and we were proceeding towards Devanadi. There were no lights, the raining heavily. The driver had not slept properly. He was feeling sleepy. I was sitting in the back seat of the matador and in the front seat my colleague was sitting. We had 7 cylinders totally, including the hydrogen gas filled cylinder. We had even purchased some chemicals which we had loaded in the matador. We had methanol, chloroform, acetonitrile, some of them are highly inflammable solvents. And as we were proceeding, my colleague was sitting in front, felt sleepy, and he told me, "Sir, please come and sit in front. Please keep a check on the driver. The driver also feeling sleepy." It was raining heavily, and the street lights were not there, and there was heavy traffic. This man, I was just sitting and watching what the driver is going to do. He overtook 2 vehicles, and as he was about to overtake a 3rd vehicle, which was a big, huge lorry, suddenly he lost control of the vehicle, and in his fright, he tried to was about to fall into a ditch on the other side of the road, and he got frightened. So he turned the steering wheel almost 90 degrees and he jumped out of the vehicle. Fortunately, the driver of the lorry sensed that something is amiss. He stopped the vehicle. Had he not stopped the vehicle, I would have been the first victim, because the thing was going like this, and suddenly he turned, as I told you, he turned the steering wheel 90 degrees. So the vehicle turned like this and the lorry was about to collide with the vehicle. As I said, Swami must have given him some indication that he has to stop. He stopped the vehicle. Had he not stopped the vehicle, I wouldn't have been here to tell you this incident. And the driver had jumped out. The driver, again, this vehicle would have gone into the ditch. There was a big tree. Throughout, I was just awake. My colleague was happily sleeping. The driverless vehicle was about to hit a tree. And as it went near the tree, I don't know what happened. 3 times it overturned and the vehicle fell. All this happens in a matter of few seconds. And I was perplexed. I know because it was pitch dark, it was raining. Immediately the 2 drivers and the cleaner of the lorry, they came with the torch. They were sure that we won't be alive, because there's so much of sound. There were 7 cylinders. There's so much of sound which was created. And suddenly I was surprised to find me active inside. I was wondering where I am. When I found the front matador window fully smashed, and since the vehicle was open like this, the window was like a door for me. So I could just come out. And when I just got up, I could find Swami's Abhyasta photo, which was placed in the front of the vehicle. It had fallen on the ground, and I had fallen on the Swami's photograph, Abhyasta photograph. So I just came out. I picked up some of the files which I had carried, which supposed to give it to them. It's a test certificates of all the cylinders. So I had carried, nothing has happened. I couldn't go to Brindavan because it was late. So those photographs bag also, I took it outside. And they put the torch. My colleague was happily sleeping behind, was sandwiched between 3 cylinders. Unfortunately, Swami's grace, these people came, they lifted the cylinder, and then he had some bruise. And suddenly, from nowhere, one car stopped, and some of the Kashmiri shopkeepers were outside. They had bought some goods. It was laden with this thing, it was filled with goods. The ambassador car. They drove us to Prasanthi. It was around 12 o'clock in the night. The next day morning, we were ready by 6 o'clock. Generally, Swami used to come for darshan around 6:30, 6:45. So we were sitting right in front of the portico. Generally, very few people used to come in the morning. Boys generally used to come for darshan in the evenings, except on Sundays. We were sitting and then Swami opened the door. Swami saw both of us. Immediately, Swami turned that side. Swami didn't want to look at us. Swami didn't want to even talk to us. Swami didn't want to come anywhere near us. So he just took a detour, went to ladies' side for darshan. We were all eagerly waiting for Swami to come here so that we could offer our gratitude to Swami for having saved our lives. And when Swami was giving darshan on the ladies' side, I just got up. Our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor Sampath, was sitting on the upper portico. I just went and told him, "Sir, we met with an accident, Swami saved and came back." I didn't tell anything about how it exactly happened. So I just came and sat back. Then again, Swami went to Jen side for darshan. Then Swami behind, he came, went through the front door. We generally go inside Bhajan Hall. He went to the Bhajan Hall. From the Bhajan Hall, he went to the other door and quietly went off inside the interview room. And Swami took the Vice Chancellor inside. Professor Sampath went inside. Then Swami is talking to him for some time. We are all sitting and praying. And suddenly the door opens. And the Vice Chancellor, from there, he says, "Swami is calling both of you, come inside." We went inside in the morning. Swami called Swami's chair. I was just sitting very near Swami's chair. Then Swami himself related the whole thing, what had happened, how the van overturned 3 times, how the driver jumped out. I also did not 3 times. Swami said the van toppled 3 times because all this happened in a matter of few seconds. And let me tell you, when that incident occurred, I never got frightened. I was just thinking, I'm going to see what's going to happen next. And maybe I would have told Sairam, Sairam inside, but outwardly I didn't shout Sairam. Since he is the inner being and he's a life force in all of us. Swami said, "See, you called me Sairam." I shouted inside. I never even shouted Sairam. Maybe the inner voice Swami would have heard. And Swami said, "I only protected you." And Swami said, "Pleasure is an interval between 2 pains." The previous day, when we are sitting in the portico to seek Swami's blessings, Swami is looking at me from the upper portico. It was meant for one of the politician from Andhra Pradesh government, one of the ministers. He's looking at me, and then Swami is telling me, "Pleasure is interval between 2 pains." So same thing Swami repeated the following day on August 6th. Generally, Swami as Sai Krishna. And Swami himself, "Your Sai Krishna only protected you." And I offered my gratitude to Swami. And I was just thinking, maybe I would have met with a very serious accident. The previous day, instead of the cylinders falling on me, maybe Swami made the children fall on me. Swami, like a small Krishna, was smiling. At that point of time, I didn't know why Swami was smiling. Next day after that incident which occurred, we were surprised to find that all the cylinders and all the chemicals which were in the glass bottles were intact. It is really surprising that how, in spite of the vehicle turning 3 times, none of the bottle broke. Had the bottles broke, things would have been different. As Swami said, it was he who protected us from the explosion. When you surrender to God, He takes care of you. Sairam.